Hey, good evening, America. This is Amazon Jude in Wyoming. I finished up the last of my 39 radiation treatments on Wednesday, and got some really good photographs of the girls that helped me through all of it. And thank God, you know, for Rocky Mountain Oncology, Dr. Flip and Dr. Tobin, my nurse Mandy on one side, Carol and Yoli for blood work. You ladies are priceless. Okay, let's rock on here a little bit. Seems to me we're in a little bit of a pickle. Adam Schiff now wants to, Adam Schiffstein now wants to delve into Trump's finances through the judiciary and the intel. I don't think that's quite right. I don't think he has the power to do that, for one. For two, let's look at his. Trump didn't have a Ukraine gun runner do, what do you call it, when you're dinners, when you're trying to get donors and money. Adam did. His name is Igor. And I think it's time we turn the tables. These guys want to try to investigate Trump, and they want to keep wasting taxpayers' money. It's been 2 years with this big old cloud over the top of us for doing nothing wrong. The fact remains that these guys are some sore losers. They've lost control, and they can't handle it. They don't know how to handle not being in control. I think they stole a bunch of House seats in California, New York, Florida, anywhere they could across the country. And I've said this before, I think they have these little U-Haul van trucks all set up to move across the country wherever they needed it to make sure these provisional ballots count. Well, you know what a provisional ballot is, right? It means that they didn't have legal ID when they voted. They couldn't prove their citizenship. So basically, I could go to, like in California, they found out today, I could go to a homeless shelter and have everybody sign up to vote the way I wanted them to vote. I know in Wyoming, we have our Democrat Party that likes to go to the old folks' home, the ones that are infirm, you know, where they still think bubble gum is a natural byproduct. I'm telling you, unless we create voter rules for the states, we're done. These guys, the Democrats, have figured out how to cheat the system. And I think that's what Romney and Robbie Mook were doing last year or a year before during Trump's campaign, flying around to various states. Well, actually, they picked 13 states that make or break a presidential run. Yeah, Robbie Mook, Clinton's campaign manager. Mitt Romney, the replacement for John McCain. As far as I'm concerned, he's a replacement for John McCain because he's a fucking dick. And he's out there, he's pissed off. Him and Ryan want to run in 2020, and I won't vote for him. I don't know how the rest of you people feel, but I think I'm done with the politician program. From now on, I only vote people who actually sign the check on the front. And I'm hoping most of America feels that way too. But anyway, let's get down to some of the basics here. Adam Schiff wants to open up yet another investigation. Oh, he's got a subpoena power, and you know what? You could tell him to go fucking pound sand. And unless the Department of Justice enforces it, Adam Schiff can suck your dick. Nothing he does or says is going to matter. He's just throwing shit into the ointment. That's all he does. He's a shitster. He's the one who leaked Don Jr.'s hearing to CNN James Comey, there's another fucking shit stain. Clapper, Comey, Clapper, Lynch, Elijah Cummings, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren. You've got a whole Washington, I would guess about 125 of the most corrupt people that you could ever imagine still in Washington. And from what I understand, there's 65,000 indictments coming down. And I want to see it happen. I want to see every one of these motherfuckers walk the perp walk. Okay, so what they're doing right now is they're trying to divert us with all these bullshit stories. You know, it's just, it's white noise. Okay, let's go. I know this much. We need voter ID. And we need to start talking about it now. Lindsey Graham wants to talk about prison reform. You know what? That's all grand and fine and dandy, Lindsey. But I want voter taken care of. I want voter registration in all 50 states. I want to be able to purge dead voters, illegal voters. And that's why Democrats are fighting against the consensus, asking if you're United States citizens. You realize we have over 30 million illegals in this country? 30 million. Don't let them talk to you shit about 1.8 or 800,000. No, there's 30 million illegals in this country. And where I get this information from? By deductive reasoning. If they're coming in at 1 million a year, getting passed and being shipped all over the country, and it's been almost 25 years since anybody's checked and balanced on it, yeah, you can bet there's 30 million. Democrats, that's their new black vote, are the illegals. And if you think about it, and you look at any kind of map of the United States on where Democrats win, it's always in these big urban cities along the coastlines. New York, California, Maine, that kind of stuff. Because they don't fucking know. All they're thankful for is they're in the country, they're getting paid, they're making money, and their families are being supported. Hey, I'm all for it. But do it the right way. You know, there are millions of people waiting to come into this country. It's like a fucking lottery. You know? And you don't win the lottery unless you play the game. So, anyway, let's move on. Trump could have the border money tomorrow, and if Congress keeps fucking around, I highly suggest that he do it. You get the Army Corps of Engineers to classify it as almost an act of war, an invasion. You get the Center for Disease Control out there saying, you know what, these motherfuckers never had vaccinations, and we're not risking our populations with bird flu, swine flu, measles, mumps, rubella, everything we've eradicated for, 2 generations in the United States is suddenly making a comeback. Remember that patient zero. And that's what these guys represent to me. They are patient zero. They will bring a disease in that will kill thousands of people. Okay, so you get the CDC involved. Then you go around and you go, you know what? We've classified you as a health and safety issue. Pentagon, I want money to build the fucking wall. Boom. Congress can go fuck themselves. Democrats can go fuck themselves, because it's part of my president's purview. When you're defending the border of the United States, there ain't a whole hell of a lot not on the table. Okay, let me find this other one. Okay, Democrats are going to run on gun control. They want our guns. They want us subservient. They want us on welfare. They want us broke because we're an easier population to control if we depend on the government money. Fuck you. You can have my gun when you can pry it from my cold dead hand after my son shot you in the face for trying. Okay? There you go, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, fucking crazy Bernie Sanders. You know, you guys don't have to worry about all these illegals and shit because you live in gated communities. You have bodyguards. You have bodyguards that have guns. He just don't want us armed. Fuck you. If I could take away anything right now, I would bust up the teachers union. I am so sick of these son of a bitches indoctrinating our kids that socialism is the way to go and capitalism is a bad thing. How can keeping the fruits of your own labor be a bad thing? Why would I want to work my ass off only to have to share unwillingly with others? Okay? That's what teachers are not teaching our children. They're teaching them, how do they put it? Social justice, diversity, acceptance. Well, I can tell you this much. I went to Sears today here in Casper, and I was looking around for some Christmas presents for, especially one for my daughter-in-law. She was a rock for me all through my cancer. And I did 39 treatments of radiation, and I think I still have 4 of the other ones. Anyway, it's going to be a year and a month since the diagnosis of cancer. And my daughter-in-law has been a rock for me. So I went to Sears, and I thought, they got 70% off on their jewelry. I'm going to find her something just so cool. And I'm going to get it at a good price. There's no use of spending money on diamonds when there's a 70% off, and I can get her a better gift for about the same money as I'd pay outright. So I did. I went to Sears, and there was 3 gals behind the counter. Well, 2 gals and one, not sure what it was. It had the man attitude, but it had tits. So anyway, so I had the gal show me what I'm looking at for my daughter-in-law, and then, of course, I had to buy myself something, too. But mine was only $11, so I wasn't too worried about that. But anyway, I got to visiting with the 2 gals and whatever it is behind the counter, and I said, so what are you going to do? And it said, well, I'm going to move to Colorado. And I said, that's probably a good place for you, because they're so fucked up down there in Colorado, men actually might think you're a woman. And he just lost his shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I am one of God's creatures. I am 100% female. I have a cookie between my legs. I had boobs on my chest, naturally. I didn't go to a doctor to get boobs. I didn't go to a doctor to have my privates lopped off. Okay? If you're confused, that's your fucking problem. I know this much. I am sick to fucking death of hearing about how lesbian, gays, and fags get mistreated. You know what? It was fine as long as you kept it in the closet, sons of bitches. Don't put it out here on fucking Front Street. Not my monkey, not my circus. You got head problems, you deal with them. Not my problem. We've got all over the country, they're making these anti-discrimination laws. Fuck you. They've already been on the books. Forever. You can't discriminate. Sex, religion, preference, whatever. So why do we keep bringing this up? Why do every time I turn on the TV I have to watch fags making out? I can't even put my granddaughter in front of the television anymore because of the fagness, because of the lesbianness, because of the misinterpretation of what it is to be a female. And I'm going to rant on this, and I'm not going to apologize anymore. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I believe in my God. And I believe in the 10 Commandments. I don't believe in what these people are doing. The first one that tries to take a piss with my granddaughter in the bathroom, I'm going to beat you fucking senseless. Do you get it? Okay, I'm sorry you're confused. I'm sorry you're fucked up in the head. I'm sorry your life ain't going the way you want it to. But you will never, ever, ever equal more than my granddaughter taking a piss in a woman's bathroom without you. Okay? Sorry. I'm done with that rant, but I'm telling you, I'm over it. the Republican or the Democrats, they've pretty much stolen California. I think that's probably the biggest voter fraud that we're going to come to find out. Florida was just, I don't know, a sacrificial lamb. They wanted that Sykes bitch out of there anyway. She'd already had a bad record. So now they're trying to make themselves look better by getting rid of her ass. But California, it was stolen. I don't know what you guys are doing out there in California where you're not paying attention. But when you got shit on the streets and needles and homeless people living everywhere, and you keep voting for the same fucking people, I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay? I'm just beyond myself on it. Trump had offered a DACA deal at one point. Well, we're not going to offer it anymore. We want to know how many fucking illegals are actually in this country. My guess is 30 million or 20 million. My second guess is this is why they hate voter ID. I think we ought to have a national ID supercomputer where you can check where somebody voted. Voted once, voted twice, voted over here, voted over there. This is the 21st century. Isn't it time we come up to speed? No more of this secret ballots and provisional ballots. You want to vote? Get your motherfucking ass to a poll and vote. Otherwise, shut up, sit down, and stay home. Because if you're too afraid to make your ass, or too lazy to make your ass to a fucking voting booth, then you don't deserve the vote. That's just the way I see it. I know I do. No matter what I'm doing that day, I tell my boss, hey, I need at least an hour, I need to go vote. Okay? And a lot of these Democrats go to these old folks' homes. They get these old people who couldn't tell you what, you know, what their name was, but they got them signing on the fucking dotted line as absentee voting. They've been cheating for years. They've been practicing for years. And they're going to try to pull it off in 2020. It's up to us. I love the idea of prison reform, Lindsey Graham. That's great. That's great. But I want to see voter ID laws. I want to see voting restriction. I want a central voting tallying system that can go back through everything and tally it up. It took over a year after 2016 to finish tallying California's votes. What the fuck? The billions of dollars we put out every single year for shit, we can't get actual voting correct? You know why? Democrats don't want it. Because they would be done. They would be done. Okay, here's another point. President Pimp, Mr. Obama, and his hood rat, Mutel, she had to have 27 servants. Talk about the... Don't even take me there. Talk about that later. Okay, now that Melania is only needing 4, Trump's donating his paychecks to Vietnam Memorial Services and all kinds of stuff. He's not taking any money. So now the deep state's got to figure out a new way to fuck with Trump, right? Mueller came up empty. 2 years, $25 million, 16 Russians that'll never see a fucking courtroom. Papadopoulos busted on an FBI fucking lying charge. Flynn busted on a lying charge. Fuck, Hillary did worse than that, and the bitch walked free. What the fuck are we thinking, you know? I'm sorry, I'm a little perturbed today over this. But anyway, the point I'm making is, people, we have to stop listening to the white noise. Mainstream media, every day it's a breaking news. And I swear to God, if I hear Chuck Schumer say, it's a constitutional crisis one more fucking time, I'm going to blow my brains out. I'm going to blow my brains out. I might do it with a cigarette, but I'm going to blow my brains out. The man is a fucking crazy fucker. Okay? He's hooked up with developers up there in New York that specialize in building low-income housing for refugees. Okay? Nobody says nothing about that. Okay? Then you got Senator Menendez, who liked to go to Brazil and get underage hookers. And he still got reelected. Tell me this election was free and fair? Bullshit. I want to see 65,000 indictments, and I want every fucking one of them to sit in front of a military tribunal. Especially Obama and Hillary. I know we'll never lock them up because the simple fact is, if it's ever proven that they were correct, every case that ever went in front of a federal judge will have to be relitigated because of the corruption within. And I think that's what they're trying to cover up these days. I think they're trying to keep a lot of people that are in prison locked up because of fake or false evidence. So anyway, they're after our president. I think they're shooting warning signs that they want to try to kill him. And the first thing that gave me the idea of that is when Pastor Burns and met Trump in the Oval Office, and he ended up killing a brown recluse on Trump's back with a slap. And then Melania's plane had smoke in it. Then Pence's plane almost skidded off the runway. Then, what else? Trump changes going to the cemetery because CIA said it was too cloudy. They're going to try to kill our president. And that's what I'm seeing. All of this stuff on TV, they'll tell. That's the weird part. These guys are not even hiding it. They're putting it out in television shows and cartoons like The Simpsons. They want to kill President Trump because they can't bribe him. They can't blackmail him. They sure as shit can't blackball him. They can't impeach him. You go impeaching him, and I'll tell you what, not a one of you fucking Congress members or House people that vote for this is safe. You're not safe. You better hide under a fucking rock. Because there are Americans out there that will take care of people like you. Just for the asking. So, I would be real careful about that impeachment thing. Because unless you got something solid, I wouldn't, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be Bob Corker or Senator Flake starting my car for the next 10 years. I wouldn't do it. I think I'd pedal a bicycle first. Yeah. Because, seems like anything connected to the Clintons, the Bush, the Obamas, people seem to end up dying. Even this Khashoggi, a terrorist sympathizer, Bin Laden's bud, how the fuck he ever got into the United States is beyond me, let alone become a citizen. And they call him a citizen journalist for the Washington Post? What are you, fucking nuts? Do you think America is stupid? This guy was a spy. He pissed off the wrong people. He got his ass dusted for it. Snitches are a dying breed. That's how that shit works. So, anyway, I've gone on for 23 minutes of rant and rave. But I'm telling you, I want some voter laws. I'll even wait on prison reform. I want voter laws, I want voter ID, and I want the fucking wall.